It's up for grabs. The 250 class of the Pro Motocross Championship will pack, well, a pack of riders who believe it's their time to step up and grab a big AMA #1 plate. From riders who have fought for it before to young phenoms looking to break through, it's hard to predict a series with so many riders attacking from so many angles. But we'll do our best in the Monster Energy Racer X 250 Pro Motocross Preview Show. Welcome to your 250 episode of your Pro Motocross 2023 Championship. It is Jason Weigandt, Racer X, and Steve Matthes of PulpMX, former factory mechanic and Fly Racing Zone. Jason Thomas, JT, and I will be part of the television crew for Pro Motocross this summer on Peacock, or if you're outside the U.S., the Pro Motocross and Super Motocross Video Pass. Steve, are you part of the television broadcast? Are you a paid professional broadcaster, or do you just pay yourself?
Let me look in my email. Nope, I don't seem to be on the team. Yeah, no invites.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Meanwhile, a lot of the series sponsors, a lot of the big people involved like the way JT and I do business. Monster Energy is our title sponsor for this show. Also want to thank New Ray Toys. I've got the not only Eli Tomac #3 bike, but the Motocross of Nations edition bike behind me as well. Get it at New Ray Toys. Dylan Ferrandis bike, your 450 National Motocross Champion again coming up at the end of this season. That's my prediction. But today we're going to talk 250s. Also, shout out to Fly, Maxxis, and Maximo as our sponsors. Our 450 show, gentlemen, was all about the riders who got hurt in Monster Energy Supercross in the 450 class. A little bit better in the 250s. We have everyone we expected to see and more because Justin Cooper is coming back off the sidelines and into competition. But I know that the line begins with Hunter Lawrence. It's an odd situation. I feel like Hunter is considered an overwhelming favorite because he was so dominant in Supercross. But do you actually, when you really start thinking about it, feel that it is Hunter's title to win or lose, or is it fairly wide open? I'll flip a coin. JT, where are we with the 250s?
Yeah, I do think Hunter is the favorite. If we were in Las Vegas and there were odds on this, I don't know about overwhelming, but he would be the significant favorite. Just because I think there are question marks around Justin Cooper. He's going to be good. My opinion, he's going to be really good. You look at the dedicated effort he's made to prepare. Like, he's been in the trenches riding outdoors for months now because he left Supercross to do so. So that gives him a little bit of a leg up. And then you look at, okay, who else could possibly challenge Kitchens and Hampshires and these guys who have never, but they've never really been in the championship fight late. So I think you look at how strong Hunter was last year and this year. Yeah, I would think he's a favorite, but Justin Cooper has to be a strong number two if you were gonna back up that bet.
All right, Steve. Yeah, what do you think? Is it like a wide open, let's see what happens, or is it like, oh, this is Hunter's to win or lose?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, look, Hunter Lawrence is 24 years old. He's older than Chase Sexton, right? He's getting into his prime. He won the championship this year, better than ever. I don't see how I agree with JT. I think Hunter Lawrence is the betting favorite. I don't like the fact that Cooper has been gone this long from racing. He had a really good 450 Supercross season when he showed up. I know the team was like, hey, putting all their eggs into outdoors and let's do it. But I think racing week to week and having that confidence that Hunter has is going to be a leg up on Cooper's prep of just riding 250s in my mind. But I would put Justin Cooper slightly below Hunter Lawrence for this championship, and then maybe slightly below Justin Cooper, I'll put the RJ Hampshires and Jo Shimoda of the world, and maybe our guy J Mart will talk a little bit about. But I think there's no doubt. I live in Vegas. Hunter Lawrence or Justin Cooper would be the betting favorites for this title.
JT, I asked a question in our 450 show about Sexton focusing on the 450 Supercross title, where Jett didn't have as much pressure in Supercross, but Jett's a rookie. So who's more prepared for the opener? Justin Cooper said he wanted to not race the whole Supercross season to focus on testing and bike prep for motocross. Is there a chance he could benefit from this? And I want to remind you, sometimes we see at round one, a dude we didn't see in Supercross go nuts at the first motocross round.
Yeah, I think he will benefit. But I would also say that Hunter has been fortunate that he had such a nice lead and easy run to his East Coast Supercross Championship because it afforded him time to test and ride and prepare. Where if he had gone down to the wire with someone, he wouldn't want to take his eye off the ball going into those final Supercross rounds where he just needs to be at his absolute best. He had this, a 45-point lead with 2 rounds to go over Hayden Deegan. There really wasn't a lot of concern there. So you think back in April, he could be like, okay, we can start working in a day of pro motocross here because things look pretty solid. Even if I'm 1% off, I have that cushion, and it's going to only put me, further ahead in the game for pro motocross. You couple that with the fact that he gets to practice with, Jett Lawrence, the former champion, also on a 450 that's going to push him every day. You have to think every single day he goes practicing, he's getting beat up by Jett Lawrence on that 450 in the deep Florida sand. So I like the way that sets up for him. It's probably 6-1, half a dozen the other, which is the better preparation route. Racing, you have all these gate drops, you have this momentum. There's really no, rust factor. Or Justin Cooper, who's logged 1 million 35-minute motos, but he is going to be a little bit rusty. He hasn't raced in 2 or 3 months coming into the opener. It'll be interesting to see which of those two is the smarter play when the gate drops in just about a week.
Now, look, we do very little research for these shows, but Steve, I'll admit you were smart enough to say we better look at last year's points just so we know who to include in this show. And anyone else who was looking at the points from last year would immediately say, wait a minute. Jo Shimoda finished second in the championship behind Jett Lawrence last year. He actually outpointed Hunter by just a few marks last year in the series. And Shimoda got back in time for the end of Supercross. I don't think health is an issue. It was only a collarbone break, and he raced 4 Supercross rounds. So is Shimoda a genuine title contender, Steve?
Yeah, absolutely. I put him right in there, right? And I don't know why, but JT and I have a buddy of ours. He'll go nameless, but he just craps on Shimoda whenever we bring up he could win an outdoor title. I don't understand. We saw it last year. Yeah, it's a real person. And he got second in the points. He beat Hunter Lawrence. Like you all the reasons that you just said. Now, I like Hunter to take a step up from last year, and it was really close between him and Joe. So it's not like Joe dominated him. But Jo Shimoda absolutely needs to be in this conversation for championship picks. I put him sort of tied with RJ Hampshire, right below Justin Cooper. But yeah, he needs to be talked about. He won motos last year. He was really, really fast, and he's ready to go.
Yeah, JT, Shimoda right there at the top.
Yeah, I think so. I'm a little bit more optimistic than said friend we have speaking on Shimoda. I think he could be a dark horse here. No one is talking about Joe coming into the series. But again, as you mentioned, he bested Hunter in the series last year. And that was on top of Hunter's best efforts to end his season at Fox Raceway last year. He literally knocked him down.
Yes.
So I think Joe comes in with a little bit of quiet confidence. That Monster Energy Pro Circuit Kawasaki has been dedicating a lot of time and effort to him because he's really their only championship contender at this point, in my opinion. I don't think he is the betting favorite, but I do think he wins motos in this series. And if things go his way, Hunter makes a few mistakes, Justin Cooper, remember Justin Cooper had an awful start to the series. He wasn't prepared at all. Maybe he has a rough couple of rounds in there. He wasn't his best self last summer. We could be coming around on Joe, say halfway. So it's an interesting proposition and something that if we're leaving Paula going, how did we not think about Shimoda, who, by the way, practices at this racetrack all the time? That's something we need to think about because Hunter Lawrence has moved to Florida. Justin Cooper has moved to Florida. These guys don't spend all of those hours at Paula, Fox Raceway, like they used to, where Jo Shimoda does. That could give him a distinct advantage at this first round.
I'll tell you who I'm not as high on as some other people, though, is Tom Vial. He's an MX2 world champion, right? This is his first year in America. I believe that same person that craps on Shimoda pumps up Vial pretty hard. I'm not there. His first Supercross was his best one of the year. After that, we saw some adjustment. Obviously not a Supercross guy, but still not as much time on the track. He's going to first time racing the Nationals. If you want to talk to me about 2024, Tom Vial winning races and winning a title, I'll give you that. But whether it's Rattray or Marvin or Kenny, the guys who come over aren't necessarily ready to pick up the tracks that quickly. They don't get a lot of time on it. He'll be good. He'll be solid. I don't see Tom Vial beating the guys that I just said. Others do, so I could be wrong, but that's where I'm at on Tom Vial.
Yeah, back in the day, you'd see the riders that came over from the GPs. They were just like chomping at the bit and just waiting to get to the outdoor season, and they usually started house on fire. But JT, you talk quite a bit about when the series switched from the 2-day format, Saturday practice, Sunday racing, to the 1-day format, and how little time there will be on this track. And I know you had said earlier in the year with Vial, that's going to be a big factor.
I think it will be, but I think it's something he can overcome. You think about this opening round, he's going to have plenty of opportunity to ride Fox Raceway. It shouldn't be, and there should be no surprise for him. Not only is it open during the week, but there's also a media event there early in the week next week that he'll be able to
what
ride.
About the other 10?
I understand. I'm just saying getting off on the right foot will help a ton. I also think there's another factor to this. Pro Motocross is switching to the grid great, start, right? So it won't be dirt anymore. That's something he's been doing all of his career, right? You add in the fact that he will likely choose the scoop tire, which some of the Pro Motocross guys in America choose, some don't. Primarily in MXGP, they run it almost all the time. And him being able to utilize that tire on the great start and knowing exactly what to do, knowing the ECU RPM and the gearing and all those things, I think gives him a little bit of a bump. Couple that with he's one of the best starters I've ever seen. I know Supercross, we didn't always see it, but you go back and watch MX2 races for the last 5 years and you will be amazed at how many times Tom Viala is at the front. So I think it sets up nicely for him to put himself in good position. Now, can he beat Hunter Lawrence? Can he beat Justin Cooper straight up just purely based on speed? Well, we're going to find out. But I think he's going to be in good position more often than not. And that sets himself up in this class that, let's face it, is not the deepest we've ever seen.
My big question is, in Europe, the KTM group had dominated MX2 for the longest time. Yamaha finally busted through and started to become a contender the last couple of years. But I'm wondering how much is they have work spikes over there. Their 250 program here has never been dominant. They were close to winning this title at Marvin Musquin once and Roxon once, but that's about it. So if Vial can be the same starter on the production KTM that he was on the work spike, yeah, look out. I mean, seriously, he could whole shot 18 out of 22 motos. That's kind of the type of pace he was on starting wise in Europe.
Well,
yep.
He's on RJ's bike. Is RJ's bike something special? Is RJ?
It seems okay. It's better this year than last year, but
it seems fine. He's happy with it.
But RJ whole shotted like all season. So to me, that's not necessarily a detraction. RJ had great starts all year this year.
The KTMs in Europe were ridiculous in the 250 class.
Of course.
I feel like a level ahead from where they would be in America. So that's a big question mark. If he's a regular Vial from Europe, look out.
Yeah. Again, if you want to tell me 2024, time to win races in the championship, I'm there. Yeah. But I don't see it this season. There's too many vets, too many vets.
Yep. Yeah. I'm not saying win. I just think we're going to see him at the front a lot. Where he goes from there, I'm open-minded with. I just think you're going to see the number 128 coming through the first corner in the top 5 90% of the time. That's my prediction.
We'll think of some other contenders here. Obviously, you can tip your visor to Supercross to get a little indicator. Now, Max Anstey was very good in 250 Supercross East. He's not racing outdoors. He's a Supercross guy these days. He'll be in the FIM World Supercross, so Anstey's out. We'll get to Hayden Deegan, who finished second in the East, in a moment. We'll save Deegan so people have to keep watching this on YouTube, hungry for Deegan content.
Yep. Why did you just bring up Max Anstey? Just randomly bring up Max Anstey.
Because people that watch this video will say, why did they not bring up Anstey? Because they use these videos to know who's racing what series, Steve. That's why.
Okay.
So now they know why we're not mentioning Anstey as a contender, because he's not racing. So now they have that info.
Okay, so if he was racing, he'd be a contender?
Someone would say, I can't believe Anstey was this good in Supercross, and they didn't even bring up his name. So now you know why. That's what these videos do.
He would be a top 5 guy, I think. No?
Can we talk about our guy, J-Mart? Can we go there?
So what I want to do first is let's talk about on the West side, second and third in points ended up being RJ Hampshire, Levi Kitchen. Let's get to them. RJ has been super, super, super positive at everything the way it's gone outdoors coming into this year. He was super negative on his bike last year, but I must have talked to him 5 different times over the last couple of weeks about how pumped he is and how much better the bike is. RJ going to RJ, or is there a chance of a slightly more consistent RJ? He's going to RJ at times, but is this going to be a closer borderline title contender RJ? He's never quite been there, I feel, before. What do you think, Steve? He was a lot better in Supercross this year.
Yeah, I think we got to start any RJ talk with RJ didn't go RJ in Supercross outside of New York in the mud, right? Great Supercross season, 1-1 and all of that. He wants to go on Motocross the Nations. He told me that's a real big goal for his. He does feel like when there's been outdoor talk, no one's talking about him. But I'm of the show me state with RJ Hampshire. He's going to be good. He will win motos. He will have those days where he's untouchable. But I think consistency is going to be an issue with him. So he needs to show me. But I mean, earlier, just in the start of the show, I put him right below Hunter and Justin Cooper in that group. He's in that group with me. He'll be top 5 in the points. He'll win a race and all of that, but I don't know if he can be consistent.
JT?
I tend to agree with Steve on this. I think there will be days where we're like, man, this guy could win the championship, but it's the other days that will be the reason why he doesn't. And I think it's very easy to cheer for RJ. He's likable. You know, the effort is never in question. If you just watch him ride, like you can visually see how hard he's trying. Like some riders you can't. You watch Jett and you're like, is he trying here? You know, RJ's all over the bike. He's making mistakes. He's jumping off the track and still winning the race. So that makes him very entertaining and fun to cheer for. But I just wonder, are there going to be days where he gives up 18 points to Hunter Lawrence, and and then there's a couple of days where he makes up 4, but he can't claw back those tough days. And I think that in the end is why he probably does end up 3rd or 4th in points.
He missed 4 motos last year, right, with injury. Can't do that. But he's fun to watch, as JT said.
Yeah, no doubt. Star Racing finished 2nd and 3rd, actually, in the 2 Supercross series. You had Hayden Deegan, the rookie, finishing 2nd, and Levi Kitchen, probably a little underrated, but he did end up getting 3rd in the 250 West campaign. We'll get to Jeremy Martin in a moment. It's kind of a youth movement over there. J Mart was on the team the last 2 years. He's on to the Muck-Off FXR Club MX team. Justin Cooper is a veteran of the squad, but this is a team that always contends for this title in most normal years. It's going to be up to Kitchen and Deegan to start carrying that torch eventually for them. So let's talk a little bit about Deegan. Let's talk a little bit about Kitchen. First of all, I think Deegan people are super stoked on. A, YouTube fans. B, social media fans. But C, people thinking, oh, if he's this good as a rookie in Supercross, he'll be even better outdoors. I'm not quite there yet. I don't know if I see Deegan winning against this field outdoors. Remember, it's twice as much talent when you bring East and West together. He's a racer. He's gritty. He'll be more consistent than you think. But I'm pumping the brakes a little bit on Hayden Deegan being a superstar at the moment. I think he'll just be very good. Any of you guys see it either other way? JT, what do you see out of Deegan?
I think he's going to be great. I just don't know if he's ready to win yet.
Yeah.
Having said that, I've been wrong every step of the way. When I watched him at Houston at the East Coast opener, I was literally counting down the seconds until he crashed out of every race he was in. And that never really came. You know, the closest I think we got to it was when he was winning the heat race in Atlanta, and he crashed out of that. He's been remarkably consistent, right? No crashes. All of the wild stuff we saw in Houston practice and heat rate, that really never came to fruition. So I'm saying he's not going to win, fully understanding that I've been wrong several times so far on Hayden Deegan, and I should probably give him the benefit of the doubt. I just think from watching him last summer, maybe there'll be a little bit of a learning curve still to be had.
Steve?
4 motos raced last year. 2 of them crashed out. 2 of them did really well. So, yeah, he's a rookie still in my eyes. 5 to 10, a lot of races, some rookie mistakes. And 2024, let's start talking about Hayden Deegan winning races and get on the podium. But, yeah, just take his lumps first year, 5 to 10 guy. And it's all there. The heart and the training and the fitness and the desire is all there. But, yeah, let's just pause and talk 2024 for Hayden Deegan.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at. And then we'll get to J Mart in a second. But Levi Kitchen, remember that one moto last year in Colorado where he just wheeled away from even Jett Lawrence? You never know with Kitchen. The tools are all there. You know, the tools like in the kitchen. He's got a spatula. He's got forks and knives. He's got it all. We're just waiting for the recipe to come together. At any moment, I think this could happen. I think you'd have a 1-1 day at a Levi Kitchen. I would not be surprised at all. Would you be, Steve?
Well, don't forget, too, he was leading Southwick, and he eventually got passed by one of the Lawrences, but got second. And then he crashed out of the next moto and was disappeared from the year. So, you know, when you talk about the chef, you talk about Kitchen, you talk about SC1 from Maxima, which you could put on a frying pan. Thanks to the Maxima USA guys for supporting this preview podcast, whether it's the SC1, whether it's Contact Cleaner, MPPL, Pulp 20, the code to save at MaximaUSA.com. Ron Lachine is one of the owners there, and he's the 1985 National Motocross Champion in 125 class. So Maxima knows motocross. Yeah, I absolutely think this is the year for Kitchen to take that step. So last year was his coronation to moto winner. and he had a good Supercross season, and I fully expect him to be talk to Hayden Deegan, 5 to 10 guy, Levi Kitchen, 1 to 5 guy for a lot of times, right? He'll have his ups and downs, but yeah, I think in his last year at Star, he's going to want to put himself on the map and win some motos.
JT, yeah, I'm with Steve. I put Kitchen a little bit higher than Deegan just because he's got that one extra year of experience. And I feel like I've seen more shocking top end speed out of Levi at times, where Deegan's more just rock solid. What do you think of the chef?
Yeah, I mean, last year was the breakout, right? He surprised me several times last summer. This Supercross season, I think there was a little bit of both. There were weekends where it was a little underwhelming, but then you look at Glendale, you look at his near miss at Denver, and then you look like his qualifying sessions in the afternoon in Salt Lake were very, very impressive too. So I think he's trending the right direction at the right time as we enter pro motocross. I'm sure he's looking at the field going, well, there was this one guy that I couldn't really find an answer for. His name was Jett, and he's no longer there. So I don't know if he's necessarily going to be there each week like it will take to be a championship contender. But I think there will be motos, specifically motos, where he's just the best guy and he wins. I just don't know if it's going to be 2 motos back to back where he gets the overall, or how sporadic that will be, similar to last year. But I do think he is on the come up in this class right now. And at some point, he's going to be a championship contender. We think Hunter Lawrence leaves the class after this year. So things are going the right way for him. I just don't know when that breakout year is. Maybe it's this summer, maybe it's next summer, but I do believe it's coming.
All right, now,
Steve. Talk about J-Mart? Can we talk about J-Mart?
So on every show, I pick someone who, for the Matthes tire, where the rubber meets the road, you've got to get it done. You've got to prove that you're either ascending or staying where you are. It is a make or break. Where are you at in this structure? And that, for me, no doubt, the rubber meets the road for Jeremy Martin. This is a risky move. He's on a non-factory team, a good team with Club MX Yamaha, but Star Racing is a team he had done most of his winning with and has done most of the winning in this class. So that's it for me. Jeremy Martin is the one that I don't know what direction this is going to go, but I do know it's a critical season. So, Steve, I know you want the floor on J-Mart. Have at it.
Listen, J-Mart and I had a rocky relationship. Started off not so good. Steve Matthes, and we kind of crested. We've gone up, we've gone down.
You made fun of the dealership thing for years.
I did. He didn't like that either.
Didn't like that.
No, but I just want to talk about J-Mart, not because I think he's going to crush it or that he's going to suck or anything. It's really fascinating to me, though. He's very happy there. He's been riding motocross for a while. It is not a factory team. Now, the club guys pushed their bikes off last year a lot. They will tell you in 2023, they have not pushed one bike off. So they're very happy with their motor program, very happy with everything that they've done. They feel they've stepped it up. J-Mart says he's happy, and he wasn't happy with his old team. 2-time national champion. He told me he feels like he did at Geico. So whatever that means, he feels like he did at Geico. I think it's going to be fascinating to watch him. I think he wins some motos. I don't think he wins a championship. I think he wins motos. I think if it gets hot and grueling 30-year-old J-Mart will show these kids what's up once in a while. And I think just for a private team to beat the factories, which he will here and there, is awesome. And I am here for it. You could tell me anything with J-Mart and I'll be like, okay.
Yeah, that's where it is. If J-Mart struggles, you're like, well, that can't possibly be. It's Jeremy Martin. He always wins motos outdoors, no matter what. But if J-Mart wins motos, then you're like, oh my God, Club MX is just beating all the factory teams. That's crazy. So either answer should or shouldn't happen any way you slice it. I have nowhere to go with J-Mart. That's why I'm saying rubber meets the road.
Yep.
I got to see it.
Yep.
JT,
I think you're right to do the rubber meets the, like, you're exactly right.
Where are we? Where are we with J-Mart? Is it trending down or is he still good? JT, any vote on this?
Well, I just think it comes down to, can he stay upright? That's been the whole thing. Can he not crash? Just coming off of the Salt Lake City Supercross, we were watching him in qualifying practice going, is anybody seeing J-Mart? Look how fast he's going. And then he's on the ground, right? And we don't even get to see the fruition of that.
Yeah, but he didn't cause the crash. He got taken
I understand.
out. Yeah.
But it's been a pattern with him where he's not putting series together. That's the problem, right? And I'm very big on J-Mart's capability. his riding ability, his fitness, his speed, all those things, I have no questions on. But for some reason, he hasn't been able to put a series together for several in a row. And I don't know what to make of that. I don't know why that is. It's been various reasons, but that's been the pattern. So if you can tell me that he's going to be there for all 22 and nothing's going to go terribly wrong, then I think we see Moto wins. I think we see an overall win or two. I truly believe that. But I'm just in a place where I'm like, there's something going on in whatever the preparation, however you want to phrase it. He's not been that guy, the championship contender guy that you can count on week in and week out for a long time. So I'm just going to need to see that proven out.
Yeah, the last time he raced outdoors, which was 2021, he was just as fast as Jett Lawrence and Justin Cooper, who are battling for the title. But
exactly.
He was just as fast, if not faster, but he was beat up all year long from Supercross over to outdoors. As for the rest of these 250 teams, man, it's hard to know, kind of like our 450 field in a lighter version, who's coming back and when. Monster Pro Circuit Kawasaki, been a disastrous year for them as far as injuries. They do have Shimoda back. They're pulling bodies out. I think they needed to they're going to have Ryder DiFrancesco and Jett Reynolds racing. I think more so because they need bikes on the track than this is a sign that these dudes are ready to win. I'm not sure where they are with Reynolds. He even went back, did some amateur races this spring. He's been so hurt for so long. He's a former amateur phenom. We'll see what Jett Reynolds has. Ryder D, he'll race the full season. Seth Hamaker back at some point.
Early. I think Hamaker comes back at High Point. He should be back early, yeah.
So we'll see what we get out of that team. Over at Honda, JT, you said as Hunter Lawrence will probably be out of this class for at least outdoors next year, if not Supercross also. Now Chance Hymas will be the next guy for them. What gear does Chance Hymas wear that's celebrating a 25th
Fly Racing? And I believe he'll be wearing Fly Racing Kinetic Mesh at most of those rounds too. So super hot. If you ride in the summer, you should be wearing Kinetic Mesh, and you'll see Chance Hymas debuting. Well, not debuting. He and RJ Hampshire will be wearing different colors of that throughout the summer.
Well, Hymas only raced a couple of Supercrosses, but I think it was underrated. He was really good. He was like a 5 to 7-ish guy as a rookie.
Yep.
He could do some damage.
Yeah, and he's had the upside of staying out. Like, he hasn't raced since Daytona. He's been in the trenches just doing outdoor motos with this series fully in mind. This was a conscious decision made by Honda, HRC, and Chance and his family to, okay, let's take a step back. We learned a lot from Supercross. We know where we need to be next season, but let's really focus on this pro motocross season and try to make a dent there. So he only raced one round last year, which was the finale. He chased Hayden Deegan around quite a bit in that second moto. I think he learned a lot. Do I think he's going to be in the contention for podiums and wins? I don't. But I think being a solid top 10 guy is the step that he wants to see, Honda wants to see. And then similar to the things that Steve has been saying, 2024 is that year where maybe we have that breakout and start to go for podium. So I just think it's a progression. You don't have to put the cart before the horse here and get your expectations too high, because then you're just setting yourself up for disappointment. But see improvement, see progression, get good starts, run in the top 10. And I think that's a really solid step for him.
I feel like we'll see him right around Hayden Deegan. So everything we just said about Hayden Deegan, 5 to 10, some moments. They followed each other at Paula. They're really close indoors. Yeah, I feel like that'll be what we're going to see, right? And that's great. Well, I think everybody should be happy with that.
And it'll be really interesting too, because there is a little bit of a rivalry there. I don't know if it's spoken or unspoken. I don't think it's anything where they hate each other. But I know for Chance, he really wants to beat Hayden, right? Hayden has such a spotlight on him. Everyone talks about him. There's a lot of hype. And Hayden performed. Lots of podiums, battling for wins. That's, I think, to me, and this is me speaking, I'm not speaking for him. This is my opinion. I think that's the bar.
We thought you were speaking for him.
No. I don't want anyone to think that I heard Chance say this. This is my opinion. I think Chance is looking at Hayden like, that's the guy I need to beat, right? I don't care about what these other guys do. If I'm beating Hayden, then I'm successful in this series. So we'll see. That's just how I'm kind of viewing it.
I also think Jalek Swoll is a factory rider. He hasn't, he missed Supercross, but he's a former national winner. I think we got to see what Swoll can do. He's in the last year of his contract, and I mean, I don't know how it's going to go, but I think we should talk about Jalek Swoll possibly, taking all the Supercross off and been riding moto and showing up and maybe being another 5 to 10 guy. And at this point, Max Voland, I think he's a better outdoor guy than indoor guy.
Yes.
He got fifth. He got sixth overall last year in the points.
Yeah, and he just missed podiums a lot.
Yeah. So I think Max Voland will be in that mix. We got to touch on that. Obviously, Supercross wasn't great, but Supercross wasn't great last year, and he performed outdoors.
Yeah.
If there's anybody,
go ahead.
I was going to say, if there's anybody with something to prove, it is that gentleman right there, Max Voland.
I talked to Max. RJ has talked so much about how much better his bike is because RJ was so outspoken about how not ready it was last year. And I think there was a thought that KTM was also going to step up the 250 program just because they were bringing Vial over. So honestly, Voland becomes the beneficiary of all that, right? And he said, oh yeah, bike's much faster than last year already. And over the next 2 weeks between Supercross and Motocross, we got a lot of new things we're going to try. It's going to get even better. I mean, if Max Voland gets on a podium here, I think it's going to surprise people, but it probably shouldn't because he's been so close in the past. Just want to mention a couple other guys. So you got Jordan Smith racing outdoors for the first time in a long time. He's actually healthy after Supercross, took some lumps, but he's okay. Not sure when we'll get Styles Robertson back. You said Hamaker for Pro Circuit will be back fairly quick. Otherwise, I feel like it's just a lot of injuries and waiting to see where guys fit in this class. But I think we know where we're looking at the top.
I think Mumpy's going to fill in for Pro Circuit for a little while, so JT
need bodies,
take that
bro.
opportunity. Yep. Yeah. So Mumpy, and honestly, I think they'll keep him on, and then someone else will get hurt, and they just keep him on, right? I think that's how these things are going to go. So let's touch on that.
Yep.
And then, Styles will be out for a little while, from what I understand. Pierce Brown should be back fairly soon. We got the Braswell kid filling in early, and Troy Lee. He's an amateur, Horizon Award winner. So there's a little bit of interest in that as well. And then don't forget about that Spanish kid, Ferris. He's riding for Star, so he's going to be well.
Oh yeah.
I think he showed some potential last year at times. So he's going to be another wild card. Gilliam Ferris.
Yep. McAdoo still out for a bit, right? The shoulder problem.
I don't think he comes back at all.
Oh wow, that's terrible. And one other name. This guy, if we were doing this show in January of this year, Michael Moseman would be right at the top line. I don't know what has happened, what has gone wrong. Supercross was a disaster. We heard that the team, I don't think, has that much faith in him. I think he's back for round one. He had said he was focusing on outdoor prep and not coming back after a crash, I think at Daytona. Michael Moseman was rolling away with motos last year. Now
unbelievable how fast he was. Unbelievable how fast he was last year.
Unbelievable how fast he's fallen off the charts too.
Yeah, there were times last season when I said it, and I obviously thought it. He was the fastest guy in this class. And that's crazy when you look at Jett and Hunter and the guys that are in this, but he was pulling away from them.
He was.
And we sit here a year later, and I don't even know if he's racing anymore. Like you say, he's showing up at the opener. I've heard he's been debating racing at all. So I hope he does. Yeah, he brings a lot to the series. He is a unique individual. No other way to put that. And he would add some serious depth to the very top of this field if he comes back.
Wildest wild card. Yep.
Sorry. Also, we didn't touch on, and we probably should. There's some light buzz about this gentleman going on. Dropped a bunch of weight. Didn't race this class last year. Garrett Marchbanks jumping back down to 250s. He was in the 450s last year. J Mart's teammate over there at the Muck-Off Club team. Marchbanks at one point 2 years ago was fourth in the points for the first 4 rounds.
Yeah, after High Point or something like that. Yeah.
Then it kind of went south for him, but Marchbanks apparently light buzz about how well he's riding, and he's lost 15 pounds. And Garrett Marchbanks should be somebody that we should talk about for a top 10.
All right, good call there on Marchbanks. There's so many riders. You never know who's going to jump out in the 250 class. We're going to get to some predictions here in a moment, but I do want to thank our sponsors, Monster Energy, always coming in, backing our shows as title sponsor and the presenting sponsor of the Pro Motocross Championship. Again, you can watch everything on Peacock, every single Moto live. That's 1 o'clock local time for Moto 1s all the way through the rest of the day. JT, I don't even know if you know this, but there's going to be a half-hour break between the motos of the majority of the rounds this year. Yes.
Really?
I know that.
Yeah, breaking news. Because Peacock's giving us extra time at the races. And we'll also have an hour-long practice coverage show starting at 10 o'clock local time every Saturday. Also, shout out to our other sponsors. We've got New Ray Toys back here, Maxima, Matthes, and Fly Racing. So, Steve, you're saying before we get the title, let's make it a little more intriguing and pick riders who we think can win motos. So who do you think can win motos, Steve?
Before we get into that, I'm just going to look here in my email. No, it doesn't look like I'm going to be involved in the TV broadcast this year.
Still no?
Maybe next year.
Hit and refresh between now and,
Yeah,
and Palace Saturday.
You know, I'm a true independent voice, one of the only ones left. All right, Moto wins. Yeah, look, I think that's a little more interesting, a little more exciting to talk about than championship guy, right? We know Hunter, we know Justin Cooper, we know RJ, and we know Shimoda. I mean, obviously we don't know, but we know those 4. Kitchen, 5, J-Mart, 6. What do we got? Am I missing somebody there? Vial? I don't think so, but I'll go 6.
Like in the 450 class, do I have to pick, or can I just pick a number? Do I have to say who, or can I just go with a number? What are your rules?
Unbelievable.
What are your rules for this? Because 6 is a nice number. You know, I actually said on your dumb Moto 60 show before Supercross, only 5 guys are going to win in Supercross. That means someone's not. And I said, if I have to pick one just out of thin air, I'll just say Jason Anderson doesn't win a Supercross this year. And I ended up being right. So this sport is weird. It is fickle. You never know. JT, what do you think?
I think 6 is probably the right number. I do think there's an outside chance we get one of the rookie guys to have like a breakout moto. Like if you told me that Hayden Deegan got the whole shot and just, rode lights out and won one, that would not shock me. I think 6 is probably the right number, but I do think there's a chance for something like that to happen. Also, somebody like Volan could win. Volan could absolutely win a moto. We're not thinking about him. He's had an awful Supercross campaign, but he's a guy that in this class, you give him a whole shot like he's gotten at Fox Raceway before, it's not out of the realm of possibility. We don't have guys in this class that no matter what, Tomac's coming, right? Sexton's coming, Jett's coming. To me, Hunter is that guy that's probably going to always be there, but I think there are going to be opportunities in here for somebody to sneak in a win.
In the 450 class, the Ferrandis danger zone is coming. You're getting into the danger zone. Highway, the danger zone.
Looks like we had
agree.
7.
It happens more in the 250s.
Mm-hmm. 7 moto winners last year.
Okay.
So, yep. So 6 is, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. You're going to probably see, unless somebody gets hurt right before Palo, you're going to see Cooper and Lawrence, Shimoda, certainly, RJ, certainly. You would think this would not surprise anybody to see them win motos. Can we get to 7? I think the J-Mart thing is a really big question. That is so odd. If he wins, it'll be both shocking and not shocking at the same time. That's a factor. I think Kitchen can do it. Volan and Vial. And, Hayden Deegan. Watch out, world. If that happens, people are going to be stoked. Title winners. I'm going to go with easy money here. I'm just going to go with Hunter Lawrence. I just feel like things are pointing that direction. Justin Cooper has every single reason to believe he could do it. I don't think anyone should doubt that it's possible. I just feel like Hunter is such a complete package at this point. He's been very consistent for a pretty long time now, and that's ultimately the factor. I mean, Justin Cooper had Jett Lawrence, his back up against the wall for this championship 2 years ago, but he did end up getting dinged up just enough. Then he got hurt last year. So that's what gives me a little bit of pause. Can he stay off the ground completely? It's been a long time since we've seen Hunter have any major problems. Steve, what do you think for title?
Yeah, it's the Lawrence's year. You can't stop it. You can't. There's nothing we can do. We're powerless to stop the Lawrence ball from rolling.
Yeah,
I think he beats Justin Cooper in a narrow title chase, and it'd be interesting to see. I look for RJ Hampshire and Justin Cooper. Look, RJ wants his Team USA spot like no other. Cooper's a veteran already, right?
Wow. Yeah.
That could get interesting down the line between those two guys, but I like the Australian kid to take it.
Cooper really likes being on Team USA. Did you get that sense ever, Steve?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I did. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
JT, what do you think?
Steve's already firing up Team USA controversy, and we're in May.
Mm-hmm.
We're in May, and he's firing up controversy. I do think this is Hunter's championship to lose. Justin Cooper could easily come out and change my mind at the opener. His opener last year was just awful. I don't expect that. He put himself, I believe he was 32 points down going into the second round last year. It was pretty much already over. So he needs to avoid any sort of big, horrible opening round, which he will, right? That was injury induced. We know that. But I just think you look at Hunter's season, you look at how consistent his starts were. And that's one factor too, is because Justin Cooper, over the course of his career, he has gained such an advantage at each round because he's such a proficient starter. He puts himself at the front, and it's like, okay, chase me down. But I'm still going to be top 3, top 5 most of the motos because of that start. Hunter's done a great job of fixing whatever the start situation was. And you watch, he was at the front every single round of the Supercross series, which is going to really change, I think, the dynamic. He's not going to allow Justin Cooper to get that advantage on the first lap like he's enjoyed for most of his career. So I think it's Hunter's to lose. And if he ran away with it, it wouldn't shock me. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen, but it would not shock me. I just think it's his year to really make a statement.
Yeah, Hunter said last year, losing that second in points, he says the starts went away, it sucked, and he spent the whole offseason working on starts, and there's no doubt they got better. I think you really got to credit Honda also for closing that gap from where the bike was compared to Star. Is there a chance, Steve, that we are looking at going into the SMX playoffs that Honda has won every title at that point? Is there a chance we get to Ironman and we're like, Honda has won everything so far this year?
It's 1985 all over again, right? 1986 all over again for Ride Red guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there is a real good chance, and it'll be interesting to see. So Jett's going to ride a 450 at the SMX races, we assume?
Yeah,
right?
He's not going back.
Okay.
He's not going back.
I assumed. All right. So
yeah,
that'll leave a 250 SMX title open for Hunter and Cooper to battle some more, right? That'll be really interesting and great to watch. LA Coliseum. Can't wait to go back there. 99 Summercross, who can forget? I want to wrap this up. Sorry, Weege, I'm hijacking the host show. So many riders to talk about. We probably missed some. Some parents are going to be angry. I get it. So here's a chance to try to make some parents happy and agents and everybody else.
Oh, thanks. Go.
Sneaky good season. Sneaky good season. We can't pick one of the title guys or a moto winner. Sneaky good season. I'll go first. We each touched on him earlier, but I don't think he touched on it hard enough. Working with Ryan Villapoto, Ryder D. He's going to be a gas next year. I liked what I saw from Ryder D last summer. He did get a bit tired, right? But he's working with Villapoto. That should be improved. I've heard it's improved. I spoke to an industry insider that was at Salt Lake that was kind of down on his chances of doing well, but I liked what I saw. I saw some come-ups from first-turn crashes. I saw some speed up front. Ryder D, I think, will be a sneaky 5 to 10 dude. We're talking Hymas. We're talking Deegan for good reasons. But watch for Ryder D. That's my pick.
My sneaky guy who people aren't thinking enough about is Voland because he just kept missing podiums. I don't think he's ever had one as a pro. I think he can be a podium guy quite a bit. And that, again, like I said earlier in the show, will seem surprising to most. To me, it's not that big a stretch. He was 4th and 5th-ish, 6th in points last year. Don't be surprised if you see Voland on the podium a lot.
I'm going to go with one, and I may look really stupid here because I'm pretty sure he's racing. Tell me if I'm wrong, but it's well, we haven't talked. Is Jordan Smith? Is Jordan Smith racing outdoors?
He is racing outdoors. Yes. Yeah, I mentioned.
Okay, that's my guy.
Yep,
that's my guy.
Really?
I
okay.
think Jordan Smith. Well, I think for sneaky because the speed is undeniable. He was doing laps at Salt Lake City, and I thought it was Jesus reincarnated on a 250 in qualifying practice. So to me, there is a real opportunity for Jordan to have some breakout rides. Now, I also expect to see Jordan's Yamaha 250 flipping down the racetrack at times too. That's what he does, but he also goes extremely fast. So a name nobody's really thinking about, but I think he could be a podium guy at several motos this year.
All right. Yeah, it'll be good. It's been a long time since Jordan's raced outdoors, but we know those bikes are really good. Okay, that's our 250 show. Remember to watch JT and I on Peacock every weekend. Steve, I don't even know, is there a media outlet? I know Matthes and Maxima, they back your, where can people see your stuff?
Pulp MX show on Monday.
Oh, okay.
Truly an independent media, not bought and paid for. We will give you the straight facts on Monday nights, and unlike the other two gentlemen on this Zoom call.
I was given a Monster Energy Supercross #1 plate for all my hard work in Supercross, as was JT. True broadcast professionals. Yes, thanks to Matthes and Maxima. Thanks to New Ray Toys, Fly Racing, and Monster Energy for backing our show. Be sure to subscribe to Racer X so you can read all the stories we put in the magazine. We put them on the website also. Go to racerxonline.com/subscribe. And we'll see you at the races starting at Pala at the end of May.